Hey, it's RICKAFIX. Welcome back. Today what I'm going to be doing is replacing my intake manifold gasket. I watched that Brian's Mobile One video, and that gasket looked pretty nice. I have a little bit of a hesitation at my idle, and this is just one more step in resolving this. As you can see, these gaskets look pretty nice, and they gave me some EGR gaskets. So I bought a new box of Q-tips, some toothbrushes from the dollar store, a couple more bottles of B12. So I'm So I'm all set and ready to go. I am taking off from Chicago. I'm moving back out west. I've lived in a handful of states out there, mostly in the mountains. And I just don't want to be broken down in the middle of Nebraska because my intake manifold gasket went out. I have 206,000 miles on this truck, and I'd like to get 300,000 out of it. So far, I really haven't put that much money into it. In the past 6 months, I started throwing money into it, probably about $1,500. But every penny is worth it because I've not made a truck payment in 9 years. So let me get the camera situated and let's begin. Okay, find your pump relay fuse in your fuse box here, disconnect it, crank your engine a couple times to release the pressure negative cable to your battery. Okay, unscrew your cruise control here. Pull your throttle up, remove your cable, pop this out. These are three 8mm bolts holding the bracket on. Take these out. Put them in your bucket of bolts. These are two 10mm bolts. Pop these out. Move your disconnect your vacuum hose here. On your fuel injectors here, just pull this plastic tab up, push the tab in, and it pulls right out. Disconnect all your fuel injectors. Disconnect your EGR. So now you're able to get this whole wiring harness out of the way. Screw your EGR, they're 10mm bolts. Remove your EGR. I just cleaned this probably about 6 months ago and put new gaskets on it. I broke off the exhaust gasket, so I had to drill it out and retap it. A pain in the ass that was. You have two 13mm bolts holding your exhaust flange on and two 15mm holding your EGR bracket on. And just remove it. That bottom bolt, that's the troublemaker. That's the one that broke off, and I had to connect the electrical to the alternator, your idle air, and your throttle position back here. Take off your three 10mm nuts that are holding on your throttle body. One's on top, two are on bottom. You also have two coolant lines underneath, but I just took this off and cleaned it, so I'm just going to remove it. I just wanted to slip this off and rest it down here, but you don't have enough hose on this coolant line underneath here, which these coolant lines are probably going to be the hardest thing of this job. So I got the right one loose, and hopefully it just comes off. And then I'm able to move this out of the way. Okay, disconnect your $30 fuel regulator hose. Take a 10mm, take the nut off for your electrical support. Take your PCV valve off. The little locking thing on this thing broke, so I just took an 8mm and took off the whole assembly. But you got three electrical connections here. You got this one, you got one in the back, and then you got your knock sensor, I think. I think the one in the back is to the oil sending unit. I'm not sure. So then just take this thing out, get it out of the way. The wiring harness, we're pretty much all loose here. All I got to do is disconnect the fuel lines and the other fuel injector connections, and we should be able to loosen this and pop it out. Now it's time to disconnect the fuel lines. Like I said before, make sure your fire extinguisher is in the kitchen under sink about 400 feet away. But I did check, and it's ready to go just in case I need it. So you just lift off this little metal tab, slip in your 3/8 line, push it in, push the whole thing up, and it just push this thing in, and then it just slips right out. Fuel's going to come out, so make sure you got a rag underneath there. Same thing with the bottom. Disconnect that little tab. Don't lose those. You know what? I think I'm going to take the fuel rails off because in the injectors, it's just easier to take out. I just unloosened the 4 bolts of the fuel line and popping these out. I'm just going to take these out. You probably don't have to, but anything to make the job easier. Okay, you got 5 bolts on either side, 8mm. Let's loosen all these up. Okay, everything's loose. I forgot to take the vacuum off the brake as well, so take that off, just hang that on top, and let's see if we can pop this thing off. There we go. One intake manifold. Okay, this is 2468. As you can see, they're filthy. I mean, there's no way that these gaskets were still sealing. Okay, this is 1357, and as you can see, man, there's total failure around these things. So this is a good thing. All right, looks like I got some cleaning to do. Okay, this is the 1357. This probably is clean as I can get these things. I take it back. This is 1357. The first one was 2468. What I was doing, I was taking the toothbrush and dipping it in B12 and making a slurry out of this, and then I would just wipe the slurry out with a rag, and I did it about 3 times on every hole. They're not spotless, but they're 1,000 times better than they were. As you can see, this is 2468. 4 is a complete failure. You know, they're probably all bad, but that you can see there's nothing. You know, it was just allowing shit to go through there. Okay, here we're at 1357, and all these are bad as well. You know, as you can see, especially 7. 7 is letting all that shit in the side right there. All right, it's like 9 o'clock and my feet are freaking frozen, so I'm going to call it a day. And tomorrow I'm going to clean this up and let's put this thing back together again. All right, here's a close-up of the gaskets. Okay, I got this thing as clean as I can. This plastic is a lot harder to clean all the carbon crap off of the inside as the metal was. But for the fuel injectors here, I just grabbed one of my brushes and I just continuously sprayed and went in and out to clean all those. So those are nice and spotless. All right, for the top here, what I did is I just sprayed in there and then I grabbed my toothbrush and went to town on the inside and grabbed a little bit harder bristle brush and did as well, but it's still caked on in there, and I think that's as good as I'm going to get it. As long as these mating surfaces are nice and flat and clean, I should be good to go. Okay, for the inside here, what I did is I just sprayed a ton of B12 down there, took my toilet brush, went all the way to the back and out, and then what I did as well is I put the toilet brush around a towel, and I went back in and out, you know, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 times. It's clean, but there's still, you know, it's still baked on this plastic. I can't get it clean. And then I took a full can and sprayed it on the inside and here to make sure I got all the little pieces of towel or whatever debris was left off inside there. But this is about as good as I'm going to get it. So let me put this parts back on this thing, and then let's throw it on here and start her. Okay, I cleaned all the threads off of the bolts here, but what I'm doing is I cut 1-inch pieces of 3/8 tubing I've left over, and I'm just putting them in here so I don't have a problem scraping or pushing or anything with the threads of the boy, are these gaskets nice. I oil both sides of them. They just slip on here and they fit right in the old right in the nuts to the, or the bolts to the head there. And I would do this just to put new gaskets on, which I pretty much did because I wasn't throwing up any codes. I'm a little surprised about that. All right, so I think we're all set to go. Let's see if we can just place that intake right in here. All right, well, that was easy enough. All I gotta do is take the rubber things off and make sure they don't go down the holes of the fuel injectors. All right, I got them hand tight. I wrote the numbers of where the bolts are, 1, 2, 3 through 10. So it just helped me out because my memory kind of sucks from the days I used to go to the Dead concerts, I believe. So the first pass is 44. Okay, this is the second round of passes. I'm going to torque it to 89 inch-pounds. Okay, we got it all torqued down. Let me throw this all back together again, and let's fire her up. All right, I got everything back together again. Let's fire it up and see what happens. All right, I got it all back together again. Let's fire it up and see how this goes. You know, it's always good to check the stuff you take apart. I forgot to put the fuse back in for the relay fuse for the fuel pump. Okay, now that I put the fuse, okay, now that I put the relay fuse back in, let's fire up and see how it goes. go. The engine sounded good. The vacuum sounded good. It was well worth the time and effort to replace that gasket. Now I won't ever have to do that again. And the way the old one looked, it was due to be replaced. Putting those little 1-inch tubes on the bolts to raise them up above, I would do that while you're taking it off as well. It made it so much easier. The thing just plopped right in there. The only things that went wrong was I forgot to put those little sponge things underneath there. So I had to take the intake out again, but the nuts were only hand tight, so that wasn't that big of a deal. And also I forgot to put the pump relay fuse back in, so I started it a couple times and it didn't start up right away, but then I remembered. So it's all good to go. The only thing left I have to do is inner and outer tie rods, get it aligned, and I'm pretty much all good to go. I'm happy with the results and all the work that I've done so far. So until then, thanks for watching, everybody. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and I will see you on the next round.